Hello, hello, my friends. It's Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com in Sedona, Arizona. Welcome back to my channel as we take a look at the energy shaping up around the new moon happening in the sign of Taurus on May 19th, 2023. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the shamanic wisdom teachings and personal growth practices that are connected to the new moon in Taurus. And then, of course, I'll be sharing a little bit about the broader scope astrology that's going on connected to the new moon. And then we're going to look at some messages for all of the zodiac signs. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I want to start by talking about, as I said, the wisdom teachings connected to the new moon in Taurus. So first, let's just talk about the energy of Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, and it's the energy of Taurus is grounded, centered, intentful, purposeful, methodical. It's about going at your own pace. Slowing down is a theme that's connected to Taurus energy. And Taurus is, of course, ruled by Venus. And so there's Venetian themes that are intertwined with the Taurus energy. Venus energies are connected to beauty, love, sensuality, internal harmony, harmony of environment. And so these are the predominant themes that are showing up this week as we're coming into the new moon. So, shamanically speaking, the new moon that happens in the month of May is connected to listening. And in order to really listen, and this is meant like in a soulful, spiritual way, in order to listen, we first have to come into our calm, our quiet, our stillness. So, this next few days of this lunar cycle is a really good time to take some time out for meditative practices, quiet self reflection. Because Taurus is an earth sign, this is a time where we're naturally going to feel inspired to get a little bit more grounded into our bodies. And so, physical practices that support that feeling of coming into groundedness or centeredness within yourself, yoga, spending time out in nature. Because Taurus is connected to Venus, it also has to do with the arts, creativity, music, dance, listening to music, moving to music are good ways to experience that tangible feeling of embodiment. In fact, embodiment is like a huge key word for the energies showing up around this new moon. Embodiment and presence. So take some time to contemplate what that means to you. Embodiment to me means allowing our presence and awareness to inhabit our entire being, our entire body. With Taurus, it's mostly about our physical body, but of course, we have our energy bodies as well. We have our etheric body, our emotional body, our mental body, and our higher spiritual bodies. And being really grounded in the here and now is a good way to think of presence. Presence means my awareness is anchored in the here and now. And when our presence is anchored in the here and now is when we can be most effective in our lives, obviously, because we're not preoccupied with past or future. Um, However, there's a little bit of a past or future element coming into the play here with some of the things that are going on with Pluto being at 0 degrees Aquarius, which the 0 degrees is a karmic degree. So when we're talking about karma, we're talking about, the current manifestations of past actions. So that's another element that's weaving in as well. But I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into the astrology a little bit more in a little bit here. So, intentions around listening to your silent knowing, having stillness, Silence, inner silence, what we're listening to is our silent knowing. And our silent knowing is connected to our heart, our soul. Paying attention to what that silent voice of your heart or your soul is nudging you towards, and trusting, especially now that we're just coming out on the other side of the eclipse season. We've all already been in this time of deep purging, clearing, releasing anything that has been unsettling energy or energy that hasn't felt aligned. And so this Taurus new moon is really supporting us in recentering, regrounding, sort of getting our footing, and yeah, being really clear, present, connected with what your soul guidance is internally. And it can also be listening, paying attention to the subtle guidance, messages, signs that show up for you in nature. And that could be in a lot of different ways. It can be through the animal kingdom, the bird kingdom, the reptile kingdom, the plant kingdom, the kingdom of the weather that's going on. In fact, one thing that we can tune into right now, if you happen to be catching this live right now, before we're in the new moon, right? So the new moon happens at 8:53 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow morning. So that's almost at noon on East Coast time on the 19th. So I'm doing this live on the 18th, the day before the new moon. So this is where the moon is its darkest. It's completely releasing energy. Pay attention to how you feel today, right? You will feel, if you're in tune, a little bit of a sluggishness, a little bit of a feeling of weightedness or heaviness in your body. Here in Sedona, we actually got a really delightful short little rainstorm, and the grass was cut in my little backyard. So I'm having this delightful energy of the smell of freshly cut grass. It just rained, so the smells of spring coming out with the rain, and feeling this really delightful energy of almost just like this big exhale in my body. After I do this live, I'm heading off to yoga class for some further physical self-care nurturing. And I'm just bringing these things up so that you can recognize how it's showing up in your life. Sometimes these energies can feel subtle at first, but when we place our presence and attention on, how do I actually feel today? What's going on in my energy field? What's going on in my physical body? When we bring our presence and awareness to those things, then what at first felt like maybe a vague, subtle energy all of a sudden becomes more noticeable, more tangible. And so the value of practicing that, connecting with your inner stillness and silence so you can really hear, feel, sense, listen to the guidance that comes to you, really is a practice that is grounded in the here and now. So let's see, what else did I want to talk about here? Reconnecting with our deep inner harmony, as I said, as we're already coming through this um, deep transformative time with the eclipses. I know we've all been feeling it. We're all having our own levels of transformation. And for a lot of us, it has felt like endings. Um, a lot of my clients are breaking up. There's a lot of breakups going on, other versions of endings happening. But now, again, with this Taurus new moon, we have this opportunity to recenter, reground, refocus. It's about reclaiming our sense of embodiment, reclaiming that feeling of connection with our authentic self, which is really inspired by the astrology that's going on. So let's go ahead and start with talking about that a little bit. So, with the astrology that's going on now, we've got the new moon happening in the sign of Taurus, but we have several other things in Taurus as well. We've got the sun and the moon in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus, which is direct now, by the way. We're still in the shadow period, but at least Mercury is direct. We have the north node of the moon in Taurus and Jupiter in Taurus. So, one thing I want to talk about here is that Jupiter just went into Taurus. What's today, Thursday? 2 days ago, Jupiter went into Taurus, and it's going to be in Taurus for a year. Jupiter in Taurus is really strong, solid, supportive manifestation energy. So, as always, look to see what house is ruled by Taurus in your particular natal chart, and that will give you some insights and clues as to where you can expect natural opportunity for new manifestations to happen in your life. And of course, we can purposely intentfully co-create with this awareness. Having this awareness shows us where we can consciously streamline our focus and energy so that we're working uh, directly, conscientiously with the cycles of nature and the cycles of life, which, as I often say, enables our efforts to produce the best results. So we have a lot of energy happening in Taurus right now. The sun and the moon in Taurus are affecting our sense of strength in our identity, which is the sun, and groundedness in our emotional body, which is connected to when the new moon is in Taurus. Again, Taurus is really grounded, practical, methodical, steadfast. And so when the moon is in Taurus, it enables us to be a little bit grounded, practical, methodical in our approach to our emotional well being. It has the ability for us to, it gives us the ability to maybe not so be so attached to what's going on in our emotional body, be a little bit more objective as to what's going on in our emotional body, and being able to move through it in grounded, centered, harmonious ways. So, this new moon is really about rooting into our internal sense of groundedness and centeredness, um, enabling our awareness to really inhabit our entire physical body. So, I invite you to explore ways to do that. What are some ways that you naturally enjoy? What are some practices that you naturally enjoy doing that help you to feel more grounded and centered in your body? Now, I'm going to mention this as well before I forget while I'm on the subject. With all of the earth energy that's going on right now, this brings us to root chakra and root chakra related themes regarding our personal growth. So that has to do with our sense of um, confidence, comfortability, safety, security, support in regard to the fundamental foundations of our life, feeling fundamentally safe, secure. Now, with that, a Taurus thing for that would be to be really nurturing your self care through taking care of the energy of your environment. Shamanically speaking, one of the mastery teachings is impeccability of environment, which means putting some positive energy into restoring or optimizing the quality of order, organization, um, cleanliness to your physical home environment, your physical body, any environment that you spend a lot of time in, your work environment. And that, in and of itself, will support that feeling of relaxed expansion into your physical body. Okay, so I want to talk about what's going on with Pluto. As I mentioned earlier, Pluto is making some aspects to the sun and the moon and some of the other planets. And because Pluto is at that 0 degrees of Aquarius, again, it is a karmic degree. And I feel like, you know, Pluto went into Aquarius last March. So we've already been, meaning like a few months ago, not last year. So we've already been having themes pop up that are connected to our soul karma. Karma meaning realizing what the results have been of our past actions, ideals, and how we've been guiding ourselves forward, and being able to have a moment now where we can pause and reflect on if the way that we've been putting our energy forward in life, if that's producing results that feel aligned with us or not. And if not, those are the things that we're bringing into completion right now. So Pluto is going to be at 0 degrees of Aquarius until mid June. And so right now, take a look at where have I felt like I'm experiencing um, a karmic ending of something, a karmic clearing of something. It can be a clearing of an old paradigm, belief system, old wounds, situations in your life, people in your life. But we have to remember that whatever's clearing away are only going to be things that are we're ready to bring into completion so that we can completely embody and step into the new. So right now with the Taurus energy, it's really about establishing those foundations for growth on very grounded, practical levels. Okay, so let's take a look here. We've got Pluto in opposition to Mars, and Mars is in Cancer. When I see Mars in Cancer, Venus is also in Cancer, so I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But the opposition with Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus now. So, Uranus, higher mind, cosmic mind, um, unexpected developments, with Pluto being inspired by that, being in Aquarius, it feels to me that this opposition between Pluto and Aquarius and Mars and Cancer is showing us a pathway into our self care, which has to do with transformation and self care connected to higher awareness, sort of getting out of the 3D level of what's going on in our lives right now and staying connected to the higher level of cosmic inspirations, cosmic downloads, mm, thinking in leading edge, ways of like what the possibilities are. And that energy is what supports us in really optimizing our self care because Mars in Cancer gives us a drive in the direction of our self nurturing. Mars is where the action is in our chart, right? It's our drive, it's our passion, it's our enthusiasm. Cancer is the nurturer. So, right now, we're driven in the direction of self nurturing, and then, of course, nurturing our environment, the people we care about, and things like that. But the pathway to that comes from tapping into the higher perspectives of things. Now, Pluto is also trining both the sun and the moon. Trines are positive aspects. The sun is our identity, the moon is our emotional body. So, again, we have this theme of positive transformation, connecting with perhaps our identity on that higher self level, right? On the 5D level, shifting into optimism and upliftment emotionally through focusing on where there's possibilities and potentials feels to be what the message is around that energy that we're coming into this week with the new moon happening tomorrow. Pluto is also squaring Mercury. And so it's transformation related communication. This can be self communication through contemplation, meditation. It may be that we're feeling compelled to have conversations with others in our life in ways that support healing and positive transformation as well. So that's all a part of the energies that are showing up this week. But ultimately, I feel like there was something else. Oh, yes. Venus, which is also in Cancer, making a trine to Saturn in Pisces. And that also, so that's water signs, Cancer and Pisces. So that brings us to second chakra related themes, which second chakra is water, but second chakra is very connected to uh, wisdom teachings around pleasures of the senses, which can also be a Taurus theme as well. So, for that, really nurturing our self growth through involving the physical senses. I've talked about this before when it comes up. It's one of my favorite wisdom teachings for second chakra related things or things connected to the sacred feminine, which the energies right now this week are very feminine with earth and water dominance. So, involving our physical senses in our personal growth or self care practices look like, what am I seeing, smelling, touching, feeling, tasting, hearing? And how am I utilizing that to support my self nurturing? So, on the hearing level, it could be music, movement to music, dance, working with aromatherapy, interacting with people who uplift your spirits, enjoying optimizing the beauty and harmony of your environment, enjoying adorning yourself in fun, creative ways that make you feel good. It's all about doing things that nurture a space of vibrationally feeling good, but in embodiment ways, which the way that we do that is incorporating the physical senses. So be creative with it, explore it. And yeah, um, I want to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys some journaling prompts that you can do that are connected to Taurus season. You can use these as journaling prompts, or if you have your own tarot deck or any type of oracle deck, you can use these questions and pull cards based on these questions and then do your journaling about that. So here's 4 questions that can be journaling prompts for you, whether or not you're using any type of tarot or oracle card, for you to follow through with on your own over the next few days to support your own growth journey. So, number 1, what can help me ground and find stability now? What can help me ground and find stability now? Number 2, how can I nourish my foundation? Number 3, what seeds in my life want to grow right now? What seeds in my life want to grow right now? And the last one, where do I need to slow down? Again, Taurus is really stable, methodical, and is about moving deliberately at your own pace. It's not about being in a race right now. So write those down, get some additional insight for yourself spiritually. But what I'm going to do now is read some cards and get a message based on these themes for each sign. So the signs that we're looking at will be significant for you if it's your sun sign, your moon sign, if you have a lot of planets in the sign, or if you're curious about just that sector, that house of your chart, right? So it's worth it to listen through all of the signs because you're going to be getting information that can help guide you through the different archetypes of the different houses in your natal chart. Again, if you don't have your natal chart, you can easily print it out online for free at astro.com if you know of course, your exact birth date, your exact birth time, and your location. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start pulling some cards out here, keeping these themes in mind around, um, where we need stability and how we can nourish foundations. So let's just go with nurturing stability and foundations, finding empowerment for that for each of the sign. And of course, we're starting with Aries. Okay, Aries, you get the universe card. So it's called the universe card in this deck. This also is sometimes called the world card in other decks as well. When this card comes up, it is a time of, not sure if I'm back now or not. I just seem to have lost the connection here. Looks like I am back. Okay. So the universe card is a celebration of an experience of maturity that comes through having completed a particular journey, a cycle of experience, um, an accomplishment with a goal or a dream. And now being ready to sort of move into the next chapter of experience. So for Aries, the way that you are nurturing your stability and foundation now is by taking some time to really acknowledge how far you have come, acknowledge the wins that you have had, and give yourself a moment of, this new moon feels for you like it's about taking some time to obviously ground, center, integrate. But on the other side of this, feels like it's going to be the ambition for a new endeavor for you. Okay, so let's come into Taurus. Taurus has a lot going on right now. We've got a lot of planets, the luminaries, the north node of the moon in Taurus right now. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through for you. The 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords is a purging, a clearing, a surrender, a release of anything that has been a source of strain, unsettledness, conflict on the mind level, right? So, Taurus, you're nurturing yourself by releasing, clearing away anything that has been a source of mental distress and refocusing. Of course, with the new moon in Taurus, the theme of where you would want to refocus is in the present, in your body, right? Typically, the stresses of our mind are connected to past or future thinking. So, anchoring your presence in the here and now is a really good way to disengage from those cycles that can feel distressing. And of course, nurturing being in your physical body, especially for Taurus. These are the embodiment practices, whatever you can do to feel connected in your body in the here and now. Okay, Gemini. Gemini, for you, you have the Four of Pentacles coming up reversed. Here's what the card looks like right side up. And the Four of Pentacles ultimately is about a stability of earth energy. Pentacles is earth energy. And so it has to do with manifestation. It's also our physical bodies, finances, and things of that nature. So for Gemini in the reverse position, this is inviting you to look at perhaps where you feel not grounded, where you might feel pulled away from your center. So nurturing yourself, nurturing your foundations, and your groundedness comes from looking at where you've been feeling pulled out of your center and using your intent to bring yourself back into center, realizing the significance and importance of that, right? We can be most effective in our lives when we're coming from that point of centeredness. Okay, Cancer. The Nine of Pentacles is coming up reversed for you, Cancer. And the Nine of Pentacles is lavish, abundant, full energy. It is very nurturing in the way that this energy represents a person who is very generous in sharing their skills, talents, abilities in ways that support flourishing, not only for themselves, but for their community. However, in the reverse position, as this is coming up for Cancer and how you can nourish your foundations, it's, Cancer energy, you are the archetype of the nurturer, and you typically feel a sense of fulfillment when it comes to nurturing others, which is great. But right now, it's about nurturing you, taking some of that energy back towards yourself. Okay, Leo, what wants to come through for Leo here? The Queen of Wands. Okay, so Wands represents the element of fire. And one thing I wanted to mention is that the day after the new moon, Mars goes into Leo. So this is a real driving force, driving energy in the direction of what our soul vision is, that deep sense of creative enthusiasm. You're being driven in that direction. So the way that you are nurturing your foundations now in the reverse position, this is about taking a moment for self-reflection, contemplation, to really get clear on what do you feel compelled to channel your creative energy into right now. Okay, taking the time to contemplate that now is going to mean a positive, streamlined stride of creative manifestation energy for the next few months for you. Okay, Virgo is the Nine of Wands. Virgo is connected to the archetype of the healer, also the analyzer, right? And when this card comes up, it can speak of growing weary because of it can be having a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things you're upholding. Um, so, Virgo typically enjoys being uh, busy and actively engaged in life. But sometimes we have to pick our battles, right? And so it feels that for Virgo, nurturing your foundations looks like reassessing where you might be feeling exhausted and where you may be able to redirect your energies in ways that are more revitalizing. I feel like it's sometimes when our cup is too full, so to speak, we can unintentionally be or unconsciously be blocking other avenues for growth because we've got too much going on. So for Virgo, some of the things that you've got going on may be ready to be brought to completion, may no longer be significant or necessary. So it's a good time to reassess, reevaluate where you're putting your energy and in what ways you might be feeling drained and or exhausted, clearing those things away to create space for some breathing room and for some new positive energy, new circumstances to come in. Okay, Libra, you have the Page of Wands. They're called seers in this deck. Adventure, exploration. This is the energy that shows up when we are being guided to be more in a process of exploring, discovering, and adventuring. It's not so much about what you're doing, achieving, accomplishing, or manifesting, as much as it is being. So, the way that you are nurturing yourself, Libra, is through um, the embodiment that comes with this new moon in Taurus is compelling you to be immersed in life, doing fun, adventurous things, enjoying self discovery through how you're interacting with life. It's also a lot about being in nature as well, doing things that are outside of your usual sphere of activities, changing it up, inviting in creativity. Scorpio, you are next. And Scorpio has the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is receptivity. Now, Cups is related to water. And of course, Scorpio is a water sign. And so for you, it's literally filling yourself up, emotional fulfillment through receiving positive interactions with others, sharing in positive interactions with others. This could be a time of emotional upliftment that comes through interacting with others or just being in more of that receptive mode. The Ace of Cups activates emotional upliftment and fulfillment. And for Scorpio right now, it's, giving and receiving, but it feels like it's a little bit more about allowing yourself to receive. Sometimes because Scorpio energy um, feels things very deeply, there can be um, a tendency to resist completely being present and receiving the positive love, support from others because of the uncomfortabilities of your empathic nature. So that is a growth opportunity for you that's presenting itself with this new moon. Is your embodiment is more on that second chakra, emotional receptivity level. Okay, Sagittarius, the Ace of Wands. So, new beginnings for Sagittarius, new beginnings in ways that are connected to you feeling ignited in your passions and enthusiasms. The Ace of Wands activates renewed enthusiasm in the direction of your deeper enthusiasms, your passions, what you feel called to. And again, this moon is about embodiment. So it's about experiencing, discovering, and actually doing things, being active with creative involvements in your life right now. Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn has the 10 of Wands. Okay, so this is about boundaries for Capricorn. You can nourish your foundations by establishing boundaries, um, reassessing and revitalizing your boundaries. So, again, anytime the idea of boundaries comes up, I like to just share my idea about boundaries. So, boundaries is not about putting walls up or pushing people away. It's about being aware of what your needs are, what your ambitions, goals, and dreams are, and recognizing where you need to be able to hold the space in your life in order for you to experience those things. So boundaries is about holding space. It's about acknowledging what you need or what you're intending and then creating and holding the space for that. So for Capricorn, that's how you can nourish your foundations for this new moon. And then let's come into Aquarius here. Aquarius has the Page of Pentacles reversed. This is what the card looks like right side up. The Page of Pentacles is about a new journey in regard to how you are contributing your talent, skills, abilities in the world in ways that result in positive manifestations. So sometimes this can be work or career oriented or financial goal oriented, but it did come up reversed for Aquarius. And so when I look at this card in the reverse direction, it feels like it's about reconsidering, reconsidering the way that you want to be contributing your talent, skills, and abilities. Of course, this is very par for the course for with Pluto being at that 0 degrees of your sign, right? Karmically speaking, it might be that you're reconsidering your whole path in life. It could be that you feel a completion with one particular chapter of experience in your life, or one main modality of how you've been contributing your soul gifts in life. You might feel like you're ready for a change in your career, or that your financial goals are changing. So, this is a time of reassessing those types of things. And so, for Aquarius, this is how you can nurture your foundations, is by really taking that time to reassess, what do I want to build on my foundation right now? And recognizing that you're at a time where you might be feeling inspired to shift your focus in whole new ways, right? That happens sometimes. We could have like 20-year long careers and wake up one day and be like, you know what, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I really feel called to focusing on another facet or a different area of my interests. And so reassessing what you want to build on your foundation is how you can nurture your foundation. And then lastly, coming into Pisces here, Pisces has the Empress card showing up. It did show up reverse, so I'll talk about that. So the Empress card, I even though in the tarot system, oftentimes the Empress card is associated with Aries energy. I personally associate it also with Taurus because it's connected to Venus energy, and Venus is the ruler of Taurus. This is everything that we've talked about earlier with those Taurus themes of involving your physical senses in your personal growth practices. This is all about embodiment. It's also very connected to second chakra themes as well, in the way that it's accessing the sacred feminine with all of the earth and water emphasis that we have going on around this new moon. It's very feminine energy. So, embracing, activating, accessing, supporting, encouraging empowerment of the sacred feminine within you is a big part of the message. It's also enjoying pleasures of the senses, literally getting out in nature and really paying attention to nurturing your self care on those very tangible, body oriented ways, pleasures of the senses, nurturing your emotional well being as well. So, in another few days, the sun is moving into Gemini. And so on Sunday, which is, I believe, the day that the sun moves into Gemini, I'm going to be uploading a video, a short little video, just talking about the personal growth empowerment practices and the personal growth mastery teachings that are around Gemini as well. So I will see you all in that video. And in another few weeks, I'm going to have a special announcement about an online apprenticeship program that I have going on for empowering your intuition. That's going to be happening this fall. Registration is opening in June. So definitely stay tuned. I'm going to be making those announcements over the course of the next few videos. All my love, guys, blessings, namaste. I hope this was a good, clear live stream here. I see that there was some type of internet connection somewhere halfway through, but looks like there's still some activity going on now. So anyway, love you all, blessings, happy new moon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.